So art styles, let's talk about it. All artists out there have art styles. Whether it is traditional arts or digital arts, we all can agree that we have an art style that, speaks to us or even connects to us. Or, well, whatever feeling this evokes in us. But that's not what I'm here for. There is an art style that has the art community in a chokehold. Is it the jelly art style? No, I guess it's not. Is it the strawberry cream mashed potato art style? No, it's not the strawberry cream mashed potato art style. Where are you getting these from? Is it the massive town harlot with a 90-degree angle to West Virginia dipped inside of a burning flaming sugar mixture art style Tanghulu? There is no specific name for this art style, but it did come from a specific application. And that application is CapCut.
早以为他会永远陪我一步一步慢慢走，总以为无聊当有趣的有我，只有他能懂。我不是他的菜，早该把手松开。他还意外。
I'm just gonna pop out again just like last time, and I just want to say you guys literally make my day every single time. Thank you to the people who commented really nice words in my previous video. Your support won't be in vain. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed now, ew, I hate doing this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going back to my roots. Going back to your roots? What do you mean? Well, I'm actually half Chinese. Ni hao. Well, okay, I don't really speak the Chinese language fluently. I just know basic stuff. But, I still can't remove what's part of me, so yeah. A little while ago, I mentioned Xiaohongshu, meaning Little Red Book, and if you don't know what it is, it's a Chinese application where people go there and post pictures and videos. It's kind of like Pinterest and TikTok combined. There's a bunch of pictures ranging from art to lifestyle, but what I'm here for is the art. Art YouTubers know that Chinese artists are on a different level. Like, what is this? How does one even get to something like this? Like, genuinely, I studied this art style a lot and I'm still confused. But in today's video, let's sit down, grab our tablets, and learn how to draw like them together. I first grabbed a few artworks that I could use as a reference, and I chose these pictures for it. Next, of course, I didn't want to do this blindly. I need to know how they even make these artworks in the first place. So I came across this artist who made a video that shows their process. So I took screenshots of parts that I can follow so that when I actually draw, it would actually make sense or I know what to do. And then I looked for inspirations for the actual design. So I decided to use these pictures. And no, I don't condone AI, trust. I just got these from Pinterest and I didn't realize that it was AI until I actually started editing this video. So yeah. And I also chose this design for the actual texture and the details. So yeah, it's time to draw. Step 1. Messy sketch. Here. When I thought my sketching was messy, this person stole my crown. Based on my understanding, the purpose of making this sketch relatively messy is so that we can get the overall shape of the head, body, and clothes. Kinda like a silhouette if you think about it. Alright, okay, it's ugly. Thank you for watching. But moving on from that, it's time to do the line art. I know you guys don't really know me that well because my channel is fairly new to the game, but to be frank and to be real and to be candid, I don't really do line art, and that's kind of an issue. You'll see later on in this video, but moving back to the actual process, I overall just cleaned up the sketch and tried making it look as detailed as possible before starting the next step, which is to block out the colors using shades of gray. I am planning to make a whole video on this, but I'll just put a small explanation here. In my own little digital art brain, the use of gray for the base of the drawing helps it look more saturated and fitting for the scene. If you use a white background while coloring, it strains your eyes, making the experience less fun in drawing, and it will be a lot harder to add highlights and value to the character or subject because with a white background, it gives you a hard time to add variety to the color you're using. Same case with black. It makes the color harmony difficult to get right, which is why artists including me use a grayscale or a color that is grayish to balance out the values and help us distinguish highlights and shadows. But back to the video, I blocked everything in shades of gray and began coloring. When I watched the video, the process of coloring seemed to be pretty simple. Firstly, they blocked the gray color with the base color, and then after that, they placed a very deep shadow over the flat colors, possibly on a multiply layer, I think. Next is to render the shadows. Basically what I did is just start blending in everything and adding more shadows over it, and overall making it look ready for the final step, which is rendering. And that's where the fun begins. Remember the pictures I said I was going to use? That's where that will come into play with this artwork. I decided to follow the references I gathered from Lancie, the one who made these artworks, and Ta. Yeah, the name just says Ta, the one that made the speed paint. But I mean, now you guys understand what I mean when I say these people are crazy. Crazy talk, a little cocoa in the head. So here's what I'm doing. I'm separating the process into two parts. For the hair, I'm using Lancia's examples. The rendering is to die for. And I want to express that in this artwork. For the rendering of the skin, I will use this way of rendering. And lastly, for the clothes, I'm combining the two artists together. So let's begin. I first started with the face. In the reference, it seemed pretty simple, but the eyes were pretty detailed. They did those Tik Tok lashes, and the iris are kind of like how I already do eyes, so it's pretty on character with what I do. So yeah, and next up is the hair. I think out of anything, the hair was low-key the hardest part. Maybe it's because I used Lancia's references, but I mean, this is my training ground. My canvas is my oyster at this point. Okay, so what I did here was add more details to the hair, like adding more strands and shit. And then I started hatching. On the reference, they have this like line-like shading, kind of like hatching. So I did that with the shadows and same with the highlights. You know, on my script, I'm saying this like bippity boppity boo just created hair. No, this shit took me so long to finish. But with the magic of CapCut transitions, that made it look like it did not take the time of day. And now it's time to do the clothes. I had fun with it. I basically just watched the two textures of the clothes from the references and tried creating that same effect with the clothes. I decided in the last minute to add like jewelry to the piece, and I just copied the one on the reference where the pearls look very shiny and rendered, and after that I just added as much details as I could possibly do for the clothes. The metallic sparkle pins, buttons, and that gold trim on the edges of the clothes. And now we have this piece. It was pretty much almost done. All I needed to do was the background. I was tired and delirious by this point, so all I did was create a gradient from white to dark gray and add fog to it. Since he seems pretty flowy, like judging by his clothes and his hair, you know, it's white, so it's like misty, very foggy. It kind of gave me Moichuro vibes from Demon Slayer. I don't know if that's a name. So yeah, I surrounded the character in fog to emphasize the coziness of the character. And well, I love doing this. I think you saw in my Instagram like 2 pieces where I've done this, but I like to add planets behind characters. So that it looks very spacey, very cozy, very warm. And yeah, hooray! Finally finished. Some things I learned from this study/challenge were that details are everything. From the line art to the rendering, I can tell how taking the extra mile to create details is very important for the overall output of the piece. Lastly, the process matters. When watching Ta, I noticed how intentional each process is. Which reminds me of Reno Tuna in a way. When they separate their processes, they kept it clean in the end, and when they started rendering it, it wasn't as hard to do. Unlike me, who messily renders my art, so it's a nice reminder to stop doing that. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope you learned something as well. I want to reiterate what I said in the first part of the video by just saying thank you guys for the support y'all gave me. I am trying my best to keep my 2 videos a month thingy, so just keep yourself tuned for more videos. Hopefully college won't really disrupt this. So far it's been pretty manageable. Yes, it's stressful, but it's been pretty fine. So yeah, I learned a lot from you all, and keep it coming. I see a bunch of feedback on my comments in the previous videos that I made, and honestly, from the most part, everything was great. So keep doing that. I want to know what you guys think about my videos, since I'm pretty new, so I need all the feedback that I can to bring out more quality inside of the content that I create. So yeah, I still will do my best to respond or interact with you guys, and yeah, every single time that little notification thing pops up, I always try my best to respond. So if you have anything you want to say, leave them down in the comments. Ew. Subscribe. Like the video. Okay, so have a nice day, night, afternoon, and maybe even midnight for all of those Omegaverse, Beta, and Alpha believers out there. Baron signing off.